taken as they sound precisely, or according to the widest extent of signification, but do commonly need exposition and admit exception. Otherwise, frequently, they would not only clash with reason and experience, but interfere, thwart, and supplant one another. Isaac Barrow. The very essence of an aphorism is that slight exaggeration which makes it more biting, whilst less rigidly accurate. Leslie Stephen. Chapter 1. On Girls. A pearl, a girl. Browning. There are, of course, girls and girls, yet at heart they are pretty much alike. In age, naturally, they differ wildly. But this is a thorny subject. Suffice it to say that all men love all girls, the maid of sweet 16 equally with the maid of untold age. There is something exasperatingly something or otherish about girls, and they know it, which makes them more something or otherish still. There is no other word for it. A girl is a complicated thing. It is made up of clothes, smiles, a pompadour, things of which space and prudence forbid the enumeration here. These things by themselves do not constitute a girl which is obvious, nor is any one girl without these things which is not too obvious. Where the things end and the girl begins, many men have tried to find out. Many girls would like to be men, except on occasions. At least so they say, but perhaps this is just a part of their something or otherishness. Why they should want to be men cannot conceive. Men pale before them, grow hot and cold before them, run before them and after them, swear by them and at them, and a bit of a chit of a thing in short skirts and lisle thread stockings will twist able-bodied males round her little finger. It is an open secret that girls are fonder of men than they are of one another, which is very lucky for the men. Girls differ, and the same girl is different at different times. When she is by herself, she is one thing. When she is with other girls, she is another thing. When she is with a lot of men, she is a third sort of thing. When she is with a man. But this baffled even Agur, the son of Japheth. As a rule, a man prefers a girl by herself. This is natural, and yet is said that you cannot have too much of a good thing. If this were true, a bevy of girls would be the height of happiness. Yet some men would sooner face the bulls of passion. Some foolish men, probably poets, have sought for and asserted the existence of the ideal girl. This is sheer nonsense. There is no such thing, and if there were, she could not compare with the real girl, the girl of flesh and blood, which, as someone ought to have said, are excellent things in woman. Other men, equally foolish, have regarded girls as playthings. I wish these men had tried to play with them. They would have found that they were playing with fire and brimstone. Yet the veriest spitfire can be wondrous sweet. Sweet? Yes. On the whole, a girl is the sweetest thing known or knowable. On the sixth hole of this terrestrial sphere, nature has produced nothing more adorable than the high-spirited, high-bred girl. Of this she is quite aware. To our cost, I speak as a man. The consequence is, her price has gone up, and man has to pay high and pay all sorts of things. Ices, sweets, champagne, drives, church-goings, and sometimes spot cash. Men are always wishing they knew all about girls. It is a precious good thing that they don't. Not that this is in any way disparaging to the girls. The fact is, a girl is an infinite puzzle, and it is this puzzle that, among other things, tickles the men and rouses a curiosity. What a man doesn't know about a girl would fill a Saratoga trunk. What he does know about her would go into her workbox. The littlest girl is a little woman. No boy knows this, and precious few grown-up men. Thus many a grown-up man plays with a girl, then finds himself in love with her. As to the girl, always the girl knows whether the play is leading. She probably chooses the game. Very late in life does a man learn the truth and significance of that ancient proverb that kissing goes by favor, for the masculine mind is the slave of law and justice. Aphrodite never heard of law or justice. She was born at sea. That is to say, few are the men who at some time in their lives have not wondered at the vagaries of girlish complacence, the foolish, the ne'er-do-well, the bully, the careless, the cruel. It is to these often that a girl's caress is given, and, curiously enough that is, curiously enough as it seems to purblind love-lawing man, should the favoured one be openly convicted, that alters not one whit his statue with the girl, for, a girl having given her heart, never recalls it not wholly. She may regret, she never recoils. In other words, to the man of her own free, lawless choice, a girl is always loyal. To subsequent and subordinate attachments she is dutiful. So, even the renegade, if loved by a girl, will be upheld by that girl, through thick and thin. Secretly it may be, for often the girl, nevertheless devotedly, and only under compulsion, will he listen to the detractor. He may desert her, or, if he sticks to her, he may beat her. No matter, he holds her heart in the hollow of his hand. But, few things mystify poor law-abiding man than this, that the central, the profoundest, the most portentous puzzle of the universe, the wheel of woe of two high-aspiring, much-enduring, youthful human souls, should be the sport of what seems to him the veriest and merest chance. The unconscious search of sweet 16 is for, in mathematical language which will not sophisticate her, the integral of love. Yet, in the short years between 16 and 20, a girl's love will undergo rapid and startling developments. A girl with lots of brothers has more chances of matrimony than a girl with none. She knows more of men, especially of their weaknesses and idiosyncrasies. And to know the weaknesses and idiosyncrasies of men is perhaps a wife's chief task, unless it be to put up with them. Often enough the freckled and frequent girl wins over the professional beauty. Sometimes grown-up girls are just as shy as little ones, and for the same reasons, because there is no one who knows how to play with them. Girls often play with love as if it were one of the amusements of life, but a day comes when love proves itself the most sensuous thing on earth, and a girl is quick to discover the kind of love that is required of her. As a rule, many a girl who has been sore put to it to prove herself wholehearted. For, of course, always every suitor expects wholeheartedness, and this every girl instinctively knows. Indeed, is not a half-hearted love or a half-hearted acceptance of love a contradiction in terms? A certain measure of the sophisticated or unsophistication of a youthful damsel may be found in her manner of receiving the attentions of a stranger in a station different from her own. Young women, themselves but rarely unsophisticated, view with a certain pitying sort of curiosity unsophisticatedness in men, and a young man's unsophisticatedness it is a great delight to a woman to eradicate. Yet, a girl regards with complex emotions the man who has blossomed under the genial warmth of her rays. The flattery to own powers is counterbalanced by the evidence of lack of power in him. A girl thinks she detects flippancy in seriousness. A woman thinks she detects seriousness in flippancy. What would be conduct decidedly risque in a city miss is often innocent playfulness in a country maid. Between the ages of 16 and 18, girls play with love as if it were a doll. Very soon after 20, they discover it is a dynamo. This is why an early and clandestine engagement often works more havoc than happiness, for either one of the parties to the concealed compact receives or pays attention which perturb the other, or a subsequent and acknowledged lover looks askance at the previous entanglement, since even if a clandestine engagement, as is usually the case, is merely a flirtation with the emoluments which accompany a promise to marry, these emoluments are not nice things for a subsequent and avowed lover, whether masculine or feminine, to think upon. Lastly, a laxity with regard to the claims of courtship is apt to breed a laxity with regard to the claims of wedlock. In short, flirtations, like clandestine engagements, are an affront to love. Accordingly, to the engagement ring should be as attached as much importance as to the wedding ring. Indeed, a difficult and a delicate path is it that a girl has to tread through life, and often enough a dangerous. Yet with extraordinary deftness she treads it. She must win her a mate, yet has to pretend that the mate wins her. She makes believe to be captured, yet has herself to be intent on the chase. To be wooed and wedded is the law of her being, yet not for one moment dares she to exhibit too great an alacrity to obey the law. But she knows instinctively that an easy victory prognosticates a fickle victor. Is she abundantly endowed with the very attributes that make for wife and motherhood, a strong and swaying passion, and an affection unbounded? She must hold them in leash with exemplary patience, for, alas, are they given the rein for a single passing moment, instead of being accounted unto her for righteousness, they work her ruin. She must win her one man, and she must win him for life, but she cannot pick or choose, for she must wait to be asked. If she make test of many admirers, she is described as a flirt. If, conscientious and demure, she await her fate, a desirable fate is by no means assured. In truth, it seems that too often a girl must disassemble, hateful as disassemblance in men. 'Tis a hard road indeed that a girl has to travel. To win her a fellow farer for life, she must go out of her way to accommodate so many travellers, and this one is lured by this, and that one by that, and another by something unnoticed by the throng. But, as she dissembles one iota too much, her fellow farers look askance, and he who eventually joins her for good upbraids her for that by which she won. Dissemblance is indeed at once the boon and the bane of a girl. Without it, she thinks too much overlooked, often enough a preposterous assumption. With it, she is looked upon too much, and always a girl has to pretend that never did she descend to dissemblance, which, nevertheless, is sometimes absolutely true, for, just now and then there happens that miracle of miracles, where there flames up in the man, and there flames up in the maid, in both at once, unaided and unlooked for, that divine and supermundane spark which smoulders lambent in every youthful breast, when maid and man take mutual fire at touch of hands and look of eyes, fire lit at that festal altar which knows no source and burns for aye.